Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lara, or Lara Likes Mascara. My channel is all about makeup, specifically makeup overconsumption and how we can sort of mitigate that if we have gone that route ourselves. So I used to be a real makeup hoarder back in the day. This was like 5 years ago. And then I decided to go on a makeup no-buy and entirely change the way that I looked at makeup. And so part of this was obviously stopping buying makeup, stopping anything new from coming into my collection for the most part, but then also really looking deeper at the products that I already owned and trying to understand why I bought them, if I still love them, if I wanted to declutter them, or if I wanted to use them up. So today's video is a project pan update. When you pan a product, that basically means that you use it up. So the products that are in this project are items that I'm trying to get out of my collection through usage for the most part. There are some products that I end up decluttering, but I'm fine with that because if they're in the project pan, that means that I'm really trying to figure out how I feel about those products. And sometimes I just hate them too much to actually use them up. I used to do these updates every 2 months, but the past few months, I have just had so many updates and honestly so many wins that I have increased the frequency a little bit to every 4 to every 6 weeks. And when you see today's update, you, I hope, will agree that this was the right pick because I have a bunch of empties, which is super impressive considering my last update was like 5 weeks ago or something. So I finished all of these products within that short period of time. But I do find that empties seem to come in like bunches. Like I won't have any makeup empties for 2 months, and then all of a sudden I will finish like 4 products within a span of 2 weeks. And that's the case today. We got a lot of makeup empties. So this might mean that like my next update I won't have any, but at least today is a good one. Today is a good, exciting update. So let's just hop right in. So I think I'm going to give all of my makeup empties updates off the top to keep things exciting, and then we will talk about the products that I have progress on. So my first empty is this Milk blush. This is not one of the oldest products in my collection, but it is one that I feel like I've had the longest journey with in a way because my opinion just changed so much on this. Like I liked it, I disliked it, I hated it, I loved it. Where I'm ending now is color-wise, loved it. Everything else, disliked it. But I have finished it, as you can see, and I actually did decide to depot this one. And this is a pro of this actually. There was so little product left to actually depot that I have already finished it off. Like I think I depotted it maybe a week or 2 ago, and in that time I already finished the depotting. You can kind of see a bit of the remnants in this container. But I do like it when there's not a ton of product left over to depot because most people obviously do not depot their blushes. So that means not as much product wasted on average. But this, the packaging was just like super breakable and finicky. I mean, I didn't even break it, but you can't screw it up or down. So for that reason, I probably would not buy any more of these Milk blushes. I did love the shade, so that was something good to learn that, you know, when I'm looking in future for other cream blushes to buy, maybe I can compare it to Work. That's the shade of this one. But yeah, I'm kind of missing this now. I mean, you can't really tell because I only have 2 cream blushes and both of them are quite bright. One is like a bright pink, like it's not hot pink, but it's super pigmented. And the other one is the Glossier Spark blush, which is like a bright red. And so both of them are really, really easy to over apply. With this one, there's no chance of over application. There's much more likely chance of under application. Like I would just go ham on this on my cheeks every day because the color, it could have used a bit more pigment to be honest, but the shade of it, I really liked. So yeah, I would not recommend these blushes, but I am really glad that I used it up and I'm missing it now. I'm going on a trip this week and this honestly would have been the blush that I would have brought if I hadn't finished it. Goodbye to this blush, but that being said, I am just, of course, very happy to get another blush out of my collection because last year was the year of lipstick for me. This is the year of blush for me. So my goal is to get those numbers down. The other blushes that have left my collection have all been declutters. This is the only one that's left that is an empty. So that's something. Okay, this next one, this one is not an empty, this one is a declutter, but I knew that I was going to declutter it. It was just a question of when that would be. This is from the collection palette. Now, this sort of came to my attention again this year because it was in my blush roulette project, which I will link that here if you have not watched. But the idea was to take one blush and focus on it and use only that blush for an entire month. And this was my blush, well, technically it's 2 in the month of March, I want to say. So I decided to declutter these 2. I mean, effectively I was decluttering the palette, right? But I wanted to get a bit more use out of the bronzer because I realized that I liked it. I didn't love it, but I felt like it had really been given short shrift out of this palette. And so I wanted to hit pan and then I could declutter it. And so for this project pan update, the goal was to hit pan. Usually it's to finish, but that was the case for this one. So you can see I've just hit a baby pan. And, you know, I could have kept using it past that pan. If I had liked it more, I probably would have. Maybe I would have convinced myself to keep it, but I was like, we're done. That's sufficient. I have reached my goal and I want to use other bronzers in my collection. So I have since moved on to another one, but I am really glad that I managed to hit my goal. It didn't take too long. As I said, this has only been in the project for a couple of months. And yeah, I'm glad that I feel as if I got a little bit more use out of this because it was neglected for a long time, for sure. The next one is another bronzer. Actually, this one is a cream bronzer from Illamasqua, and this is another one that I decided to declutter. I kind of thought this would be done by my September update. I thought maybe July, but I really wasn't sure. But here we are. It's all finished and it has been depotted. It looks pretty strange in there. Like, it was kind of weird to get out because of those ridges, but I unfortunately was not able to use up the depotted product. I could have, but I just didn't want to put myself through that. Look at what it looks like in here. It's like all clumpy and weird. And so for a couple days, I was trying pretty hard. Like, I would take a brush and sort of move it around in there, try to like get the clumps off, but still get some color, and then put it on my cheeks. It was a hassle. I actually made a TikTok about it and people suggested trying to heat this up so that it would become uniform. I didn't know how to do that in a way that would work. Like, I didn't want to boil this, obviously. A couple people suggested using a hairdryer, so I tried that. I really like blew on the product for a while. I don't know if our hairdryer isn't that hot or if I needed to do it for a longer time, but I gave it a good, like, I don't know, 3-4 minutes and absolutely nothing happened. So I decided to say goodbye to this. If you have other suggestions, honestly, I would kind of rather you keep them to yourself because I just don't want to deal with this anymore. It looks really gross. So that was, I mean, I panned it. I didn't pan this final part, but I did my very best to pan it. I really enjoyed this, but I probably wouldn't repurchase it just because I do want to try other cream bronzers. Okay, next up is this concealer. Last update, I was like, I'm sure that this is going to be done next time, and it finally was. I kind of thought it would be finished last update, but it took longer than expected. Look how much windowing there is in this. I didn't actually get that much out when I removed the stopper. I thought there would be more, but I think I was pretty meticulous about like using everything before taking off the stopper. I'm glad I did it nonetheless, but yeah, that was an interesting experiment because I don't think I have removed the stopper for a concealer before. I really like this concealer. I probably would repurchase it in future. Oh, is this the first repurchase today so far? Yes. Most of the products, when they're empties and I'm talking about how I like them, I say I wouldn't repurchase. This one, I probably would. It wasn't like holy grail status, but it was very good, and LYS is a pretty affordable brand as far as high-end makeup goes, but I do want to try other products. So maybe one day, but not for the next one. Love the packaging. Stunning. Bittersweet saying goodbye. I'm having more bittersweet saying goodbye products this update than most. Usually I'm just like, thank God that's gone. Well, these 3, I actually really liked all of them, so that's great. we're finally getting to that point with my collection where it's not all hate panning, which I used to do a lot of that. Still do some of that. Okay, I think those are all of the empties. So now let's talk about the products that I've just made some progress on. So this is the MAC highlight. I don't want to give you the whole breakdown, but this is part of a broken highlight that I've just depotted in here. I have tried to use this a bit more because, you know, it's summer, so I put it a bit on my like chest and shoulders when I'm wearing a tank top, but I haven't been as good about using it on like my actual cheekbones because I started a new job recently, and so I have much less time to like get ready in the mornings. So usually I'm just going to use a cream highlight, which is faster, and also because I don't have much time, I don't do like a full makeup routine. I just do like minimal, so that means usually a lot of creams. But I'm still going to try to use this a lot because it is summer, so there's more places to put the highlight, but you're probably not going to be able to tell any difference whatsoever. But I'm still keeping it in the project pan for now. I'm not yet tired of it somehow, even though it's been in this project for a long time. Okay, the next one is the brown liner, and we've got a couple today where I actually have to measure how much use there is. Actually, I should probably, I'm gonna go sharpen that right now. Okay, here we have my very professional measurement sheet. Let's see how we've done over the past month or so. Keep in mind, although I've had a lot of empties, likely the progress on things like this will be a lot less than usual because it's been only 4 weeks rather than 8 weeks. But, well, no, I don't think I can count that as progress. It's like maybe marginally in a different place, but like pretty much the same. So I'm not gonna mark that for today. It's maybe like 0.5 millimeter. I don't think that warrants making a mark, but I have been using it somewhat. I'm not wearing eyeliner to the office, so that kind of minimizes how much I'm using this, but you know, slowly but surely, I still want to keep it in the project and I still want to finish it one day. Okay, the next one, so we talked about the bronzers. The next one is my Dior foundation. Okay, so this is the weirdest part of the project. Every month I weigh this to see if I have made any progress. It's been very baffling because I do actually use it, and yet the scale tells me that I'm not using it. So confusing, but you know what? We're still gonna weigh it because that's what I've been doing. That is 0. So it says 70 milliliters on this, and I know that the container itself weighs 4. I think last time this said 74. No, I think last time this said 68. I'll put the calculations on the screen. Oh, 62. And I think last time it was 68. Okay, that's great. I will put this picture in there. So I have used up a bit of it. That is actually excellent news. Glad to hear. My goal is to finish this by the end of the year. So that still gives me like almost half a year, and hopefully that is enough. And keep in mind, I'm using makeup more now than I used to because I'm going into the office every day. And so I'm using this at least, I would say, like 4 times a week, which is more than my previous like 2 or 3. So yeah, getting some progress on that. And I have warmed up to it a little bit more. I just have to use less than I was using previously and use a lot of cream products. The next product is my Merit Brow Gel, and I actually just added more liquid to this. When mascaras and brow gels dry out, then I add some contact fluid. I really can't think of the word right now. But anyways, I just did that. So I have started reviving it, which means that it is close to the end. So I'm guessing this will be done by September. I'm not using it every day. I am alternating with another brow gel that I have. Wow, there's actually like barely any product left. Like maybe even August update, this will be done. Yeah, that's gonna be my goal. Finish it for next month. I really love the packaging and everything. You can see I've really got a thing for gold, but it has come time to finish these products, and I'm just proud of myself that I'm able to part ways with aesthetic products when I don't have something aesthetic to take those products' place. Because, you know, part of my goal was to make my collection more aesthetic and curated and nice. But for older products, I still need to get them out, even if they do fit those labels. The next product, it is a primer, which I forgot to get, and I think that that shows you, that's sort of demonstrative of how I've treated it the past month. I haven't used it as much as I'd hoped that I would. Okay, so this is the glitter primer from NYX. I've had this for a long time, and most of the time when I'm using a glitter or sparkle eyeshadow, I just forget to use it. Like, I've never been able to factor this into my routine. I know that it is somewhat helpful, especially, you know, for preventing fallout because it's sort of sticky, but I always forget. And I do matte eyeshadow looks more frequently than I do sparkly eyeshadow looks. And it doesn't help that the past couple of weeks I've been now working in an office, and I was actually at a cottage for a few days, and those are not the type of situations where I wear sparkly eyeshadow. I think I am going to try to add in a little bit of sparkle to my looks at the office because people don't really wear much makeup there. I have yet to see a single person wear eyeliner, even though I work with mostly women. And so that obviously impacts how much makeup I do. I mean, I could do glam full face if I wanted to. No one's gonna say anything. But it's kind of nice to not feel that pressure to wear a lot of makeup. And also, you know, getting it ready in the morning, it of course saves time. But I used to exclusively wear sparkly or glitter eyeshadow if I was wearing eyeliner. And I think I'm gonna try not to do that, because eyeliner is what to me like ramps up a makeup look. Like, I can have a full face on and no eyeliner, and then it feels like a less of a makeup look, you know what I mean? But I'm gonna try to just wear a little bit of sparkle on the lids and try to remember to use this over the next 2 months. I really do want to get more use out of this because it's been totally underappreciated, and this was definitely a regret purchase. But having said that, I want to make the most of it that I can. So didn't do great for the past month, but hoping to do well for the next month. The next one is a cream highlight. This is from Merit. This is what I've been wearing pretty much every day, and that's sort of what's happened the past few summers. Like, I love a cream highlight in the summer. I wear a lot of creams year round now, but especially even more so in the summer, and I think I can already see progress on that. I don't think I've marked anywhere how much use I have on this, but I think just like through pictures, I'm gonna be able to tell. I'm gonna be sad when this leaves because I really do love it. It doesn't have a scent yet, but I am expecting that scent to develop by this fall because that will mark the 3-year point. So ideally I would finish this off this summer, but I'm loving it. This is what I'm using instead of the powder highlight for my job. It's just, it looks like you might not have put highlight on. If I apply this, it's like, oh, you're wearing highlight. This, it's like, oh, you know, you're just glowy. I can't tell if that's makeup or not. Just to be clear, those were all of the products that were in my Project Pan last update. But I have to add a bunch of new products, 4, because I finished 4 products. Well, I finished 3, I decluttered 1 in this last update. So we've got a lot of new products getting added in. So let's talk about what those 4 new products are. We've got some variety. Let's first talk about a product that is a direct replacement of one of the products that I just finished. So this powder bronzer just left my collection, so we are adding a new product in. Now, to be clear, I do not expect to finish this. This is not something I'm adding in here to pan, but this is another one that has been underappreciated in my collection, partially because I historically have not loved bronzers, and so I have to like force myself to use them. And I would just love to see some more progress on it because it's massive. This is 25 grams. To give you some comparison, this whole palette is 18 grams, and that's 4 different shades. This is 25 and it's just a bronzer. And I use a bronzer very slowly because I don't use it every day. So I would just love to see some more use on this. And my main goal, there is still an imprint on this, even though I've had it for a long time. Oh my goodness, I just totally dug my nails in there. And I would just love to have that imprint disappear through use. So I now only have 2 bronzers, 2 powder bronzers in my collection. Yeah, this is obviously the biggest one. The other one is more of a contour it's kind of like grayish. This one is definitely a bronzer, and especially in summer, I think it makes sense to use a lot of bronzer. So I'm rolling this into my daily makeup use anyways, now that this is gone. So I just want to be able to track my progress and see that I'm actually using it. And hopefully it grows on me. I used this for the first time in a long time today, and I enjoyed it. Like, the formula seemed nice. So hopefully this is one that I enjoy rather than one that I'm like hate panning, essentially. The next one is a mascara. Now, I have had mascaras in the Project Pan before, but I don't think I've had any in this year. And the one that I'm moving in is the Maybelline The Rocket Volume Express. I used to not like this because I accidentally bought a non-waterproof version, which I don't like. Waterproof mascaras are always better. But I have since actually enjoyed this a bit more. It does make my lashes uncurl somewhat, but it's not the worst. So I've been trying to use this on like very casual makeup days, i.e. when I go to the office. I will wear this because I don't need my mascara to be waterproof, obviously. I really like the brush, actually. It's nice and thick. And I mostly just want to see more, like, if I can get myself to like it more. Maybe I will end up decluttering this, but I haven't had it in my makeup rotation for a while, so I mostly just want to get to know it better. And of course with mascara, you can't tell how much is left, but I feel like there's a lot left in this because I have used it so little. The next product is actually another brow gel. Now that might seem kind of weird having two brow gels in the project at once, but I kind of feel like they have different purposes. This is like a nice brow gel, and when I want a lighter makeup look, this is for a heavier makeup look because it actually has like dark product in it because it's a mascara. This is the Clinique mascara, and it's still got some product on it. If I rub it on my hand there, you can see how dark it is. But if I just use it very lightly in my brows, then obviously it's just like, it adds a little bit of pigment. I don't think this would take too much longer to use up. I've just kind of been neglecting it lately because I've been focusing on this one, but I want to be able to use both of them. And considering there's so little left of this, I think it makes sense to have two in the project for when this inevitably finishes, hopefully before August. And so then this is just sort of the next one that I start using as a replacement for this. So I don't think I've ever had two brow gels in my Project Pan before, but these are two products that are pretty close to being used up, so I feel like it makes sense to have them both in the project. And then the final product that I'm adding to my Project Pan is actually a skincare product. I used to have 10 makeup products and then one skincare product in my Project Pan. I haven't done that in a while, but all of the other products that I would have wanted to add into my Project Pan were lip products, and I feel like I need to reserve those for my lipstick Project Pan because I finished a lot of lip products lately, so I'm going to need to roll in some other lippies. So I had to look around and see what else was potentially going to be able to be finished or at least have some obvious progress in the next little while, and all I could think of was this skincare product. It's a multi-peptide eye serum, so like it obviously doesn't go all over the face, it's just in your eye area, but I still use this as a skincare product when I'm doing the rest of my skincare. I have been really struggling to use up my other skincare products. To be honest, this is the only one that I feel like I'm making progress on because I feel like my skin is reacting to any skin product I use that's not like moisturizer or sunscreen. It's really not been happy when I try to incorporate my glycolic acid or my squalane or even my like AHA, BHA products. I need to use them so sparingly and so infrequently. Otherwise, it could be coincidence, but I just feel like my skin flares up with those. But this obviously, because it just goes in the eye area and you just use a tiny bit, my skin has not objected to it. So I try to use this once a day, once every 2 days, and you can actually see how much is left. I have gotten through quite a bit of this. I've had it for about 6 months, and I don't think it's one that I would repurchase because I don't notice any difference. I have a friend who told me she loved it. She felt like it was so effective, and I'm like, tell me what to look for. Like, I'm not noticing anything. That being said, I will use it up because my skin doesn't object to it, and because it is, using itself up even through just organic use. So now that I'm telling myself to use it, hopefully it will go even faster. So that is it. This is the 10th product that I am adding into my project pan for the month of July. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below when you think I should update this next. I don't think I'd need to do it quite as soon as I felt like I needed to do this one because I had 4 makeup empties. Ugh, do I think any of these will be finished next time? I forgot I usually give a prediction. Not the MAC highlight, not the brown liner, not the foundation. I think the Merit Brow Gel will be done. Yeah, honestly, I think that's it. I think this one will be done next time. I think I will have progress on the others, but definitely not finished. This is the next one that I think would be finished, but I don't think I'm gonna have this done in a month. Like, that's just not realistic. So I might do an update towards the end of August, or I might actually wait till September. We'll have to see. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and let's talk about a book that I have been reading lately. So this is called A Most Agreeable Murder by Julia Seals. Now, I actually read this a few weeks ago, but I did not talk about it. I think things were just too busy and I didn't want to talk about a book at the end of my videos. But I really, really enjoy this by Julia Seals. And the premise is like Pride and Prejudice meets Clue. You know, the board game Clue? So the beginning, it starts off very, very Pride and Prejudice-y, like right down to the family and the way that all of the sisters are and their sort of social status and relationship to the rest of the people in the town. But then they go to this ball one night and it pretty much all takes place over the course of 24 hours because there is a murder. So then they have to figure out who committed the murder. This was such fun, especially the beginning. I love books that like play on Pride and Prejudice. Unmarriageable by Sonia Kamal is one of my absolute favorites. This is Pride and Prejudice in Pakistan. Excellent book. I love Jane Austen inspired books. This one, it got a little bit much towards the end. It was a little bit clunky. There was like so many plot twists and turns that you were like, okay, come on, like just give me one murder we have to figure out. Don't have their I obviously don't want to spoil it, but I was like, okay, we could have kept this a bit simpler and I think it would have been better. But it was a really, really fun book to read. I need to read Persuasion. That is my goal for end of summer, early fall, because I'm actually going, I think, to a Jane Austen event in the fall, which is very exciting, but I feel like I'm not enough of a Jane Austen fan to be going. So I need to do a little bit more work in that department. But yeah, highly recommend if you like that sort of society era. That's just like a fun take on it and a bit more lighthearted. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next week.